Good morning, Homestead team. I'm Chaplain Robert Terrell, and this is your May 3rd, 2021 Monday Motivator. As you may remember, we've been talking through the fundamentals of love the verb, because how can you teach someone else about love the verb when you don't know what the fundamentals are? So as a group, we are going through the attributes of love the verb and then also the behaviors of love the verb. This week, we're going to talk about humility. And the executive leadership team has defined humility as: don't be arrogant. Set aside your ego to do what's best for others. Use your gifts and abilities to serve others. When I think of humility outside of my faith, well, I think of a story of a man named Arlen Williams. Now, when he came to the news, we didn't know who he was. He was just called the man in the water. For you see, he was a passenger on the airplane that crashed, Air Florida Flight 90. This was in 1982, and it crashed into the Potomac River during the midst of a just terrible winter. The Potomac was frozen over. It was very cold. And people began to die in the water because of the crash and hypothermia. People were standing on the edge of the river and could see 6 individuals clinging to the tail section of the plane. A helicopter came over and dropped a safety line down to them. And Arlen was the very first person to grab that rope. And when he grabbed that rope, he passed it down to the person beside him and tied it onto that person. They drugged that person to safety. The helicopter came back, dropped a line again. Arlen grabbed the rope, tied it onto the person beside him, and they dragged that person to safety. It happened 5 times. Each time, Arlen grabbed the rope, tied it on the person next to him, and then watched as they were taken to safety. When it came back for him, the tail section shifted and Arlen went under. He sacrificed his life because he considered others as more important than himself. When I think of humility, that's what I think of, is thinking of others first. Now, you and I will probably never be asked to do something as heroic as Arlen did. We'll probably never have a newspaper article written on our actions. But every day we get the opportunity to grab the rope and tie it on someone else, to hold the door for them, to meet their needs first. One of my favorite examples of this in the Bible is from the 2nd chapter of Philippians, and I would encourage you to read it, because it says that Christ had this attitude in himself. He had humility in himself. It's an action we're called to do. When we put others before us, we live out love the verb. And when we live it out, we can actually teach others about it. I hope you have people in your life who put you before them, and I hope you get the chance to put others in front of you. I know as caregivers, you get to do that with your clients all the time. If you ever need help knowing how to do this, or being reminded of why you are important, please don't hesitate to call me. And if you remember nothing else, just remember simply this: our CEO cares for you, and so do I. Have a great week, okay?